How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. Good day. Chilling with my son, enjoying a little poolside activity, eating Cane's chicken. Life can't get no better than that, bro.
Yeah, Canes is good. Canes is a Baton Rouge original, believe it or not.
I know. You know it's good whenever they finally get Snoop to endorse it. Snoop endorse everything. Somebody, Dave Chappelle said Snoop is the Ronald McDonald of hip hop.
Oh, that's a great line. So your son is what, like 9 or 10 now?
Yeah, nah, August 25th, he'll be 10.
Yeah, you and I are on very similar timelines. I've got a soon to be 11-year-old and soon to be 9-year-old. Man, there's a lot of great moments with your kids as they're growing up around the dinner table, driving with them in the car. One of my favorites, though, is hanging out at a swimming pool together. We have enjoyed being in the water together ever since they were babies.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess that's because you're white. You guys get a quicker start. We got black people. We got to have a couple of almost mishaps before. Yeah, I think it's time to take this serious. But he loves the water. He's swimming. He's doing a good job at it, man. And like, there is no better sound than like hearing kids playing at a pool, man, just jumping and laughing and diving and everything, having a good time.
So you are making an annual pilgrimage here to Austin here in a couple weekends. I'd have to imagine at this point, Donnell, that you're pretty familiar with your surroundings when you come to Austin. What is it that you enjoy doing other than making people laugh at the Comedy Mothership when you come to this city?
Harass and kill Tony fans. That's the only reason. The only reason I come to Austin, as much as I love Joe, as much as I love the mothership, I always do well, whatever. But I got a beef, man. Enough is enough. And these Kill Tony fans, I'm about to crash out. I've had enough. Hopefully, everybody have a good time in my shows Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I'm just coming here to beat. I'm coming up there to beat Red Band up in Tony Hinchcliffe. That's pretty much it.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that Kill Tony fans are still upset
Man,
with you over
they
what
are.
happened 2 years ago?
Yo, they don't let anything go. I could post a picture of my son, and they'll be like, "Well, at least he didn't walk out of his son's life." They're awful, man, and it's so funny because nobody wants to believe my story. I want to keep it going, whatever. But what people don't know, like I'm a huge fan of the Kill Tony platform. I was telling somebody the other day, I don't remember the last time that there was a platform that a comedian created to give other comedians a platform to be seen. There's not really a show out there on network, Netflix, anything that breaks talent, that introduce people to this game. That's why my hat is off to them. And especially like he's got like 10 or 11 years off. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes having the right team together to get that system that you are out there, not only winning for yourself, for winning for everybody else. That's why when these haters come at me from the Kill Tony following everything, it's unfortunate because I believe in Tony. I believe in that show. Me and Tony are good friends. In fact, during the pandemic, when nobody wanted to do Kill Tony because of COVID, right? This is part of the story a lot of people don't know. Nobody wanted to do the show because of COVID. They were coming in and doing Rogan's show because you still want to maintain relevance. But Monday, when it was time to do a show, everybody's like, "I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm out of here." And that's how I got with that situation that happened a couple years ago. And Tony knows I don't like the roasting thing. I am sensitive. I will crash out. It's not my forte. I can get into it, but it's not my thing. And he asked me, he was like, "Yo, D, I need a favor. Could you come and do Kill Tony?" I mean, the band was small, the production was real. It was like a friend calling a friend. And I was like, "Yeah, of course I'd do it, man. I'll do anything for you." And I did it. And then the incident happened, got a little, sidetracked or whatever. It didn't happen. But it's like I said, it's unfortunate because I don't want to alienate anybody from coming to see my show because I consider myself one of the top comics in the country. I've been doing it for over 30 years. You know what I'm saying? In fact, when you come to my show, if you look in the audience, you don't know if it's a black comedian, white comedian, whoever's coming on, because the audience is so diverse with everybody. And I pride myself on being able to look at my audience and say, there's people from all walks of life. You know what I mean? Whatever your political views are, whatever your sexuality is, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever. It don't matter. Like people come out to my show to have a good time. So I'm not necessarily trying to sway any of Kill Tony fans, but I guarantee you, if they come see my do my live stand up, the question about funny and everything, it won't even be an issue, you know?
Well, anybody questioning how funny you are, they're just foolish. But people may not realize this, or Kill Tony fans may not realize this. You really are a man of the people. Like you're
Yeah,
somebody who gets along with a wide variety of people. You just talked about how diverse your comedy crowds are too. And just speaking personally, you don't need to come on my radio show to sell out the Comedy Mothership, but your
right.
media booker, Jeff, reaches out to me every time you come through town because that's the sort of generous dude you are with your time. You're all about looking out and helping others. And I really appreciate that. And it's disappointing to hear that some people are incapable of letting that go. But I also know at the end of the day, you've got very thick skin from being in this business for 30 plus years, serving in the military prior to that, growing up in DC. So it's
Yeah.
not something that's going to cause you to lose too much sleep at night.
No, it's cost me to lose a lot of sleep. I gotta get them back, bro. I'm so petty. They tell me, yo, just shake it off. You're bigger and better. No, I want to be a crash out. I want to go hard. I want to be cringe. I want everybody. I want to respond to every screen name that has ever DM'd me and questioned my ability to be funny. I want to fight you. No, I'm just joking, man. I just want to have fun, man. Austin, it like when the first time I really spent time, it was during the pandemic when we were doing those shows at Stubbs, you know.
I went to one of those shows. You killed it that night, or the night that I was there, and it was freezing ass cold too. By the time Joe and Dave came on stage, I couldn't feel my toes anymore. It was hard to laugh, Donnell, but I was laughing my ass off at you and Michelle Wolf. There were a couple of others before that too.
That's why I really have a really special connection because when the world was troubled the most, you know, we came to Austin and we found a safe place, or we tried to create the safest space we could. I think we were probably one of the only teams that was actually creating a bubble with testing everybody. And one of the things that when the pandemic first kicked off, one of Dave's biggest things was like, man, we gotta do what we can do to try to live as normal as possible, you know? And like, you know, you could catch a Dave ticket, you could catch a Rogan ticket, you could catch a Donnell ticket. But it was something about doing those shows in that residency when it was tough to do it that made it super, it really made it special. And we're talking maybe 4 years ago. And like I always say, one thing about my stand-up, if you see me 1 year, it's always going to evolve. Like questions like, oh, is he going to do the material he did when he was at Stubbs? Is he going to do the material from his special? I already have a new set. You know, I always like to probably be prepared for 60% of the stuff that I know I want to do.
Hmm.
And then I also try to keep myself open for things that are created in the moment. And when I say that, it's not just crowd work. I don't knock the guys that do that, but I'm not really a crowd work guy. I can do it. You know, when I first started, it was very shunned upon to do crowd work, but comedy has evolved. People want different varieties of comedy. So if it works, it works. But don't come to my show expecting me to pick through your life and ask you how long you've been married and all that type of stuff. I do have a show, but if something happens on the spot, we're going to get to it.
So as you're putting together material for that next hour, you said you're comfortable with about 60% of what you have right now. What is that process like for you? Are you writing during the day? Are you filming your sets and going back and looking at things that were maybe off the cuff that you want to try and expand on to make it more of a solidified piece of that hour long set? How does that work for you, Donnell?
But I don't really have a process. What I try to do is just uh experience life. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I'm going to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Taking a walk down the street, a bike ride. And then I'm just one of those guys. Everything that happens in life, I think of funny first. So for me, it's just like just experiencing life. And then if I retain something that happens, or that could be a good bit, my comedy always comes from, you know, I got to put that on stage. You know what? That could be funny. And then I work it out. My process is working it out on stage. You know, I'm not like some guys, they like really, really like pen to paper, pen to paper. That's not me. If anything, I might do a bullet point. But if
Yeah.
something happens in the day or something happens in my life that is funny in that moment, certain things that happen, I'm like this, oh man, I just know this is going to be a banger with not even, it ain't even about working out. It's just like, just open your mouth and just talk about it, you know?
Do you have an example like that? Something that just entered your phone as a bullet point that's still very much in its infancy?
No, I mean, I will just say this. I know everybody got jokes about that Coldplay incident, right? But my thing is like, it's interesting. I understand how people are so alarmed that a billionaire CEO has a side piece. You know what I'm saying? If I don't even want to be a CEO if I can't have a side piece, put me back in the mailroom. Those guys in the mailroom got stories, bruh.
Well, he's special. He's flexing especially because he was his side piece was HR. That's supposed to be the last person that becomes a side piece.
Oh, I know, man, but as they say, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? But I mean, not to be. This is what I don't understand, people. I don't understand why people so alarmed and so like, oh my God, when it comes to infidelity from a man with money and power. People can rip my head off all they want, but it's something that comes with that. You think these guys just want to be rich and powerful? Just to, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. And I'm not saying that I support that or anything, but by no means am I alarmed like, oh my God, billionaire has a side chick. Come on.
Yeah, it's like the story from a couple of years ago with these guys with too much money who rent this mini sub to go explore the Titanic. It's like something bad happens there. You can't be too surprised about that. It's like these guys
Well,
had too much money for their own good and they tried to pay for an experience that they probably should have just stayed far away from because of the danger prospect.
and you know an interesting fact about that?
Huh.
The people that attended this submarine, they're all white.
Yeah.
Yo, it's certain things that we just, submarine that's being navigated by Nintendo PlayStation controller. I think I'm going to stay up here, you know? I mean, I do know white folks, they like to be adventurous and explore life, but you no way you get me in there in a submarine doing nothing crazy like that.
Yeah, it's like every time you see somebody jumping with a paraglider off of a cliff, it's a white person.
Yeah, but I can understand like how that ad adrenaline, some people just all about the adrenaline and it's like whatever, but getting in a bootleg submarine, that's taking it to the next white level. That's like you got the white level here, then you got Caucasian out the roof.
So I love getting to revisit your story each year that you and I talk, Donnell, because it's a great reminder to me that you are an absolute dog in this business. Not just that though, you tend to be very gracious with not just the opportunities you have, but also the opportunities that you may miss out on. Where does that mindset come from? One that allows you to be happy for others and not feel sorry for yourself and just keep grinding for that next great thing because it's obviously gotten you very far in your 30 plus years of entertainment.
I'll tell you what drives that. The fact that I know I'm blessed, you know, and another thing that the job that I do, it's not a very difficult job for me personally. I'm natural, and it's a rewarding job. I get to have fun. And when I was growing up, my mom used to always say, you know, sometimes you got to look at some people less fortunate because it just lets you know where your life is, you know. And I say it's a lot of people that's struggling to make ends meet. I think they say it's only like 10 or 15% of the people in the world is doing a job that they love to do.
Hmm.
You know, and as long as I can make an honest living doing it, I don't have to be, my goal was never be like, I want to be the richest or anything. All I wanted to do was be able to create a good lifestyle for myself. And it's something I enjoy doing and having fun. So I keep all that in perspective. And even I've been doing it for a very long time. And there's people that's come into the business that have surpassed me in regard to money, in regard to fame and a lot of stuff. And I never ever got bitter like, oh, why is that person? When is this going to happen for me? All I said, and I tell everybody all the time, people say, congratulations, so and so. Always answer that question with, I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress. I'm going to continue to evolve. I'm going to continue to grow. Every year, I think my stand-up gets funnier. I find something else to challenge me. And I live a good life at a God-given talent that I recognize and I pursued.
Well, I remember speaking with you a couple of years ago, and I think it was after you had filmed the Feeling Good special, which, by the way, kudos on that. All the confidence that you felt about that definitely manifested itself on stage. But you said there was a point during one of the tapings where it was a bit of an out of body experience for you, where you felt like you had achieved a level of mastery for stand up. So when you reach that point, what is the next step in your evolution and continuing to get better at that craft?
The thing is, I find something like part of my evolution years ago is the way I dressed. You know what I mean? I think the next thing, the next challenge is going to be for me. It'll be the subject matter. You know what I'm saying? I even looked at my last special. You know, I have a very colorful language. I'm on stage, right? And I look at some of the things I said, and I was like, you know what? If you would have cut this, you would have cut that. If you cut just a couple of words, this special could have played to a broader audience. You know what I mean? Could have got more content out of Netflix to post. So now it's me going in like a real craftsman now. You know, when the last special I did, I think that people got to know me. It was a beginning, it was a middle, it was an end. They knew I was funny. I talked about some topics that relatable to everybody, toxic relationships, an older guy dating someone that's younger than him, like things that like humans deal with. I think the next stage of my evolution is I want to be able to do an hour show that I could sit down and watch my son and he doesn't feel uncomfortable. You know, so I think Donnell is going to clean up his act. And I don't mean that in the sense of like not pushing the envelope, but it's just certain little small tweaks that I could do that my whole show could be enjoyable to my son. And the more I get into what's going on in my life as far as raising him, the relationship I have with him, you know, I think that's going to be something. And I want him to be able to say, Daddy, let me watch your special without his earphones, headphones, or anything. So I think that'll be the next evolution of Donnell.
I like that because if I'm thinking back to that Stubbs show, you were on fire in terms of how blue you were working. And I'm not offended by language, but you
Right.
could tell that you had to keep it kind of held in for a period of time and you were ready to let it all out. And you were hilarious. You killed the night. But I also like to hear that you're thinking about things in a, I don't want to say more mature, but in a slightly different way. And at its foundation is wanting your son to be able to appreciate that a little bit earlier in the life than he might be able to otherwise.
Yeah, and he's a funny guy. He gave me a funny joke the other day. He was talking about, he said, Daddy, man, Diddy ruined it for baby oil. He said, we got to name it something else. You know what his name for the oil now? He said, Daddy, we got to call it newborn oil.
That's really good for a 9-year old.
Man, he did that. I did it on stage. I said, you got to give me a couple more of those. Newborn oil is hilarious.
So has he seen any of your stand up to this point?
Yeah, I'm sure he's seen it. He travels with me on the road sometime. And as much as I want to believe that he always have his headphones on, I know that's not the case. But also he knows that I'm a performer. He knows that the things that we talk about, we make up. The only thing is sometimes that, you know, I'm in a co-parenting situation right now. And, you know, sometimes I talk about the realities of how difficult it is to do that at times. And I'm in one show, I came to the green room and he was right by the door. Right. And then as soon as I came, I said, oh man, I said, you know, I love your mother, right? I was like, you know, I love your mom. It's a different type of love, but I love her. I said, these are all jokes. And remember, I'm an actor. He said, I get it, Daddy. So that's that, you know?
How much does the acting thing still drive you when you're talking about what you love to do for a living? Because you're obviously really good at that too.
And the thing about it, I got to kick myself to get into the group because it doesn't drive me at all. I have no motivation to pursue a, a acting gig. I think the next thing I'm doing is going to, I, um, I, at this point, I only want to work with people that say, you know what, this is my guy. You know, I've had a relationship with him. The last 4 or 5 projects I've done the last 10 years, they've all been because I've did something in the past or somebody that liked me and said that this is the only guy I want for it. I have that edge, if you want to say, because, you know, I'm a stand-up comic first. So I'm not like looking for acting work to pay my bills or anything. You know, acting is just passionate for me and it's just fun. But I do know whenever I do get parts and stuff, I do a pretty good job at it. So I think if I buckle down and really put some energy on really focusing on doing a good audition tapes and stuff like that, I could get more involved, but it's not something that I'm crazy about because just it's there's just, you can't control that. It always could be one person, no matter how well you think you did an audition or you think it was right for something. They'll have these meetings and one person like, well, I don't like them, and then that's it. So I'm
Yes.
going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing along with my stand up, and then if I get opportunities to do stuff, I'll try to knock it out the box whenever they present themselves to me.
It's nice to be able to be selective like that. And as we discussed a couple years ago with the idea of cancellation, you're only as cancelable as those who you're having to answer to. And at the end of the day, you want to be answering to the crowds who are coming to see you do stand up more so than any studio exec.
That's it. I mean, they've been the ones that have been supporting me. I'm employed by them, the audience, the person pays that ticket to come see me. I just did some shows in Houston, and I've been going to this one club probably for the last 17 years. And it was so interesting to hear people say, "Man, I've seen you 9 times. Every time you come here, I got to come see you. You always doing." That's the toughest thing. Like I'm like, "Oh my God, how many times you see me?" They're like, "Man, every time we see you." Of course, I might stumble on some classic bits that they're always growing, but for the most part, it's always a new show. It's always new topics. It's always new energy. And I've after 30 years, I've never ever went on stage without the intent to just demolish the room. I'm not saying it always happens, but my energy when I go up there, I mean, I'm talking about from day one, I still have the same energy and the same mission from the first time I ever touched the microphone to this day. It's never just for the money. I get paid a nice amount of money for doing it, but it's never like I'm doing this for the money. I'm doing it because I love it. And when you love something long enough, if you're good at it and you got work ethics, the money will follow. Be good. I tell people all the time, be good. Be passionate, be good, put the work in, and the money will follow you.
That's right. Love what you do and work hard to get better at it. And some
Yep.
of those other things will eventually follow. So I hear comics talk sometimes about having the same butterflies in their stomach when they step on stage 20, 30 years after doing it for the very first time. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. That means you still care. Do you get butterflies before you step on stage then?
Yes, sometimes.
Mm.
Some majority of the time. But then sometimes it all depends. If I'm like really feeling myself, it's sometimes when I feel like it's no butterflies, like just, man, I'm going up here to try to just cut heads off. You know what I'm saying? And that's usually after I've been in an argument with my son's mother. I get that type of energy. But it's times like I do get like little jitters, but then also sometimes I'm like this, oh man, they are in for one tonight. And that's how I feel about coming to the mothership. I just feel like for some reason I got some unfinished business in Austin. Again, as much as I love those shows, but it's something else I got to do on this trip, and I'm going to get it done.
So are you going to be on Kill Tony on Monday?
I don't want to talk about it.
Is that a no?
I don't want to talk about that. I'm just saying I'm just excited to come back to Austin. I'll put it like that.
Okay, my fingers are crossed that you get back on to Kill Tony because people need to chill out with you on that nonsense from a couple of years ago.
What I tell if I ever go back on that show, I will tell you one thing. I'm coming locked and loaded, full clip. And it's like we say, anybody can get it.
So I learned something in listening to your Club Shay Shay interview from earlier this year that I found fascinating, and that is, as good of friends as you are with Dave Chappelle now, Donnell, you guys weren't really friends on Chappelle's show. You had a very professional mindset, and you weren't trying to mingle too much because you had a job to do. So what was it that allowed you guys to eventually become as close as you are now?
Him leaving the show and then reconnecting without the show really getting to know because we were fans of each other. And I don't want anybody to like uh take my words the wrong way or like what you said. We weren't really, I was just totally professional. I didn't want to be like, I never want to be the cool guy. I wanted everything I built and respect that you have for me, I wanted to be all through my work ethics and what I did on the show. I never want to be like, hey, you want to hang out or whatever. But after the show was over, and then like he disappeared for a while, we really, really, really got to get to really hang out. We did tours together. I had a kid. We had like human experiences. I mean, we buried Charlie Murphy. We've been to weddings and stuff. And it was after the show that I really got to really get to know who the man Dave Chappelle was. And he also got to know who Donnell was, because only what he knew about me doing the show was like, whenever I tell his motherfucker action, he's going to blow it up. And that's the only place I needed him to, that's the place I wanted him to respect me more than anything.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, in terms of your favorite places to perform, because you performed everywhere at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
started at the Cellar and Boston Comedy Club in New York. You've done the Comedy Store. You've obviously done the Mothership. Where does Yellow Springs rank for you in terms of your favorite places to play right now?
It's a very interesting place because this place, Yellow Springs, was here for me during the pandemic. Again, we used to do shows here, then we did that in Austin. I got to really get in touch with like the important things in life, not taking small things for granted. I really got in touch with nature, and I was like, it's the simple things that we need to blow up more. We need to do more of those. Like I appreciate a nature walk. Things that I used to think was corny and just oversights, I appreciate them more. And then that was a special time. Yellow Springs has became a special place in my heart because we were doing stuff at a time when nobody was doing anything. And that's what made it really, really, really special for me. Got to meet some good friends. He still does the cornfield shows, and they're successful, but it was nothing to be able to replace. And I think the name of his documentary is A Moment in Time.
Hmm.
It's a moment in time, and we embraced it. It was great.
Is there a most fond memory or somebody that you got to meet during that time that you still cherish to this day?
I say this was a moment. Years ago when I was doing the I'm Rich Bitch tour, was me, Dave Chappelle, not Dave Chappelle, me, Charlie Murphy, Bill Burr. We did like 50 cities. And I used to come out, I was a huge fan of Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah.
And I used to throw people off because this black guy comes up, and then the first thing you hear is, with a little love and some tenderness, we take this world together. I wanna run with you. And the white people's like, what the hell? Yesterday. So this was like 2005, 2006. I've always been a big, huge Hootie and the Blowfish fan, right? So when we started doing the shows in the cornfield, I kind of brought I brought that intro song back out, right? For like a month I was coming out, but today just coming out with that song. I remember one of the guys, production guys said, you know what, man, boy, if you could get Darius Rucker out here, that would be crazy. And I was like, yeah, right. Come to find out, he was dating uh, this woman that I used to do podcasts with, Kate Quigley, at the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right? And she was like, hey, man, me and Darius are in. I was like, yo, I said, y'all got to come. You got to come to the show, right? You got to come to the show. And he was like, yeah, I think I'll see what he wants to do. And he hadn't had to play the guitar or anything for a while. So he came in. I'm like all geeking out and stuff. And I'm like, oh man, I'm a big fan. He said, thank you. And you can bleep this, whatever, but this was with Darius Rucker before I was going to go on stage. He was in the green room. And he looked me right in my face. And he said, you better be funny, nigga. Yo, to hear Darius Rucker use the N-word, I mean, yo, I was like, it was like, it was like that Chappelle Show sketch when the white guy said, "Did you hear what he just called me?" Right? When he hit me down, I was like, and it made me nervous. I was like, I better be funny, nigga. Right? So, yo, so I come out to the song with a little, and the crowd is going crazy with the song. And uh, my show's over. I rocked the room, standing ovation. Then I was about to leave. I was like, man, I don't know if y'all felt that song the way I feel that song. I said, I need y'all to help me sing this song. And I was like, anybody know the words of this song? The crowd was kind of like shy. I was like, anybody, and I was teeing it up. I was like, does anybody know the words of this song? And Darius comes behind the DJ booth, and all you saw him say was, with a little love and some tenderness. The crowd goes crazy. Me and Darius going back and forth, and that was probably one of the best moments of that whole summer camp experience.
Oh my God, that is so freaking cool.
Cut to get in the back of a pickup truck with Darius, goes to Dave's little speakeasy place. We get a couple cocktails, and he hasn't played a guitar in a while. One of my friends had a guitar, and he did us a little impromptu, like 4 songs, like right there in front of like 75 people. It was amazing.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, it's a great story. I like every time I bump into him, I remind him of what he said. He said, "I didn't say that." Yes, you did.
Oh my God. This is why you need to go see this man at the Comedy Mothership here in a couple of weekends. He is the great Donnell Rawlings. Nice enough to join me every time he passes through town. Donnell, it's always a pleasure, man. ComedyMothership.com is where people can snag tickets. In the meantime, thank you so much for the time. Safe travels to and from Austin here in a couple weekends.
I don't know what you're doing. You might be taking that trip to Turkey, but the next time I see you, I want to see some hair loss, bro. You still got it going on, man. You got to join the team, man.
Man, it's fading, Donnell. It's
You
fading.
got it. You still got it up there, though, son. You still got it up there.
Just enough. Thank you, Donnell.
All right, thank you for your time, bud.